This essay is about growing up in Merchantville, New Jersey, um, during the war, World War II. I was born just a couple months before my father was shipped off to Saipan and Iwo Jima, and my mother and I lived with her parents, with my grandparents, along with her two younger sisters, and it was a fascinating time for me. Um, and about the time I was 5 years old that I could remember, I would spend a lot of my time exploring the world around me, which meant two or three houses within the neighborhood. And one of the places that I loved going to see, or place home, was Mr. Lee's home. And Mr. Lee was he's ethnically a Chinese guy, and and I tell you, he would be willing to sit down with just a toddler and talk to him and talk to me. And I mean, he would tell me things about what I considered the old world in China. He talked to me about living there and growing up and then coming to America. And during, towards the end of the war, and when I was visiting him on his front porch, which was across the street in Merchantville, where my grandparents lived, at that time, he was what I considered really an old man, but yet he was willing to talk to some young kid that was hardly a toddler when he first started talking. And I wish I remembered all the things that he talked about prior to what I can remember. But I've taught at college level for a couple decades and taught philosophy and world religions and history and a lot of the humanities. And one of the things that I know for a fact is that the Chinese view older Chinese with almost a reverence because they understand life. The reason they understand life is because they've been around a lot longer than some kid that's 21 years old or 30 years old. They have spent 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years on their yellow brick road of life. And Mr. Lee was, Mr. Lee would spend time talking, and man, I'll tell you, the thing is that, I appreciated I appreciated that he would be willing to talk to me. The second thing was he was Chinese, and that was the only Chinese person that I knew. And also, the thing that fascinated me was that he was really old. Looking back on it, I'm probably as old as he was when he talked to me. But one of the things that he said was to live while dying rather than die while living. And I thought that I understood that 60 or more years ago, 65 years ago. But at this stage of my life, that is a critically important thing that I understand now. That we have a limited amount of time in this world and that we need to use it well. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video and read this essay. In the meantime, you take care.